Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
It's Fort Worth Playboy and
Bunny.
Welcome to the Morning Hustle. We are glad to be here. We're excited to be here.
I'm really excited to be here.
And so what is the Morning Hustle about? So it's our combined efforts to talk about game, pickup, relationships, and sex.
Sex.
Just like I normally explain in the mornings. When I say we, I mean me and my Playboy's Bunny. We cover everything here from meeting a girl as a stranger to getting her naked and in your bed to saving a 30 or 40 year marriage, which is what Bunny's really good at, is, reigniting, which I think is much harder than anything else, reigniting a dormant or a damaged relationship.
Yeah.
And getting that thing back, basically resurrecting it, which I think is incredibly difficult.
Saving relationships is my love language.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, that's a tough gig. And we fall under the umbrella of the Red Pill, which is MGTOW, men's rights activists, anything that's intersectional dynamics, politics, science, the debates, everything that really goes on, in our little world. But Bunny and I kind of made an agreement to stay within our lane, which is more tactical, more applicable, things that you can walk away from our timeline and apply that day and get better results.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, it goes a long way. And people need applicable, things that they can use that day to improve their life.
And I do feel like there are some accounts and some personalities out in our neck of the woods that do get so caught up in kind of the argument of the day, the hot topic of the day, the article of the day, and it really does kind of make us all more angry in the end to kind of dig into it. And that's not our vibe.
Well, yeah,
we don't really like to be angry.
We're not, we're
not fighters.
Yeah, we're not good at the strategic stuff, or not interested that much.
Yeah.
We are intensely interested in game and the tactical.
What makes girls tick,
yeah.
And therefore what can make your life easier
exactly.
and better and more fun,
yeah,
and sexier.
And that's a real deal.
That's a real deal.
So on this show, we try to dig in a little bit more on the topical, and we can go a little bit deeper than you can just on Twitter.
Yeah.
Or even on some of our podcasts with YouTube. And if you have any questions, can they ask? Can we see it? Okay.
Yeah, I'd love.
If you have any questions for us, go through YouTube. We can't see it on Twitter. We will see it after the show. But if you have questions for us, then please come to YouTube and just put it in the comment box, and Bunny will read it. And she doesn't have to identify you. You can stay anonymous, and we'll get it answered on air.
I love it. I love it. So and let me just, fair warning, this morning, Fort Worth was like, I don't know if anything that I put up for this show is going to be any good at all.
Yeah, sometimes. But what I realized, I was just kind of like numb from looking at that screen since 5 a.m.
I think they look great.
Okay.
And this first one, I think, really kicks it off with a bang. Oh, cracked me up. Oh my gosh. Let's see.
Apparently no woman has all five, so let's see. First, $40. Well, I have $40, so that's a good thing. Second, fuck this shit. Apparently no woman has all five, so let's see.
It said mental stability.
Oh, that's funny.
I just think that's hilarious. We don't know what the other five is.
That's pretty good.
But I think that video is so freaking funny. So no woman has all five.
No.
Well, and I mean, we've talked about that too, that most people don't have $400 in their account.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have, if something happens in an emergency, even grown men with families aren't really prepared.
Mm-hmm.
Women by and large, are even less prepared than that. I mean, I think I have $17 in my checking account right now, and I'm one of the responsible ones.
Pretty crazy.
But I did just travel.
Yes. That's the deal too, is like with women. I mean, like, was that the number that she put out there? I have $400.
No, she said
She said
$40. $40.
That's true.
Most women do not at any given time have $40.
No, they might not have any money at all.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, we talk about that all the time. Like, well, why would I need money?
no, they don't. They don't spend, any of their own money, throughout the day.
We don't.
It's a Starbucks card. She used her husband's checking account or credit card to refill that,
Or my dad's.
or her dad's.
Why would we need money? We don't
don't.
need it. Everybody else pays for everything.
It's
But
kind
the reason I'm down to $17 is because I was visiting kids,
yeah.
grown kids, and when you're a mom, then
I know
you
she goes-
spend
she
all
goes-
your money.
She goes, she's getting stuck at this airport. I'm like, are you going to have enough money to like get out of the airport, change your flight, do all that? She goes, yeah, I've got this much. And she goes, and I've got to get my son some groceries. I was like, he's what, help 23?
Well, I had to do some cooking because that's what
Yeah.
moms do.
See, girls are taken care of, even by dads. Like,
Yeah.
Boys are like, go.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
girls are like, well, she can stay here till she gets married, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's definitely a difference in how you treat them.
You're welcome.
Yep.
All right. I just thought that one was hilarious. Good choice, baby. All right. Being in a happy relationship, this is Ryan Stone, with a sexually available wife is like being a gay dude. In that, if you don't respond to thirst trap bullshit and treat women like human beings and not something better. Which is probably why they are detecting all this hate against them. They don't know that men are as nice as they are because they want to fuck her, not because she's a great person. I hope that simile isn't taken out of context.
That's a pretty good analogy,
Yeah.
is because, if you're sexually satisfied to a certain extent, most, some guys are there's never enough.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if you're with a girl that everything kind of all the boxes are checked, there's not really any reaction. You don't have that visceral reaction you would normally have as a single guy
Sure.
to any type of stimulus.
Yeah.
You're just
Yeah.
like, oh God, okay. There's a lag, and that's where you see these guys, kind of like following their wives around the mall. Sometimes,
Yeah.
they're just like shut down. To good and bad. It can be good or bad.
Yeah.
And this is one of the few good things that I've seen where it was kind of explained that, the happily married guys, they don't see a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
It's not on their radar,
Right.
And they don't. They're not on Instagram liking all these pictures, all this completely different world, because there's no reward.
Right.
It's like looking at a brick or grass or an inanimate object. They don't get it.
Yeah.
So-
Well, like you always say, they'd rather be fishing or hunting or doing one of their golfing,
Yeah, the vast majority of your men, I mean like 80 or 90%, aren't really interested whatsoever in attraction, seduction, game, women. It's a necessary evil, and they'll kind of put up with it, and they want to make their family, their mom and dad happy, so
yeah.
they
I
meet
think
someone.
that's a huge factor.
They just want to get that box checked off so they can like move on with their lives and like go work in their shop or, do whatever. There's a lot of radio controlled cars. I mean, make no mistake. We're not
Yeah.
talking about like jet aircraft. But they need to get that box checked, and it's a companion, it's
Yeah.
somebody to travel with. But there's no like real passion for understanding. That's where they go, women are a mystery and I'll never understand her. Great.
Right.
And he's happy,
Yeah. Yeah.
as long as she doesn't bitch constantly, they're pretty happy.
Yeah.
It takes a lot.
But I do think that's also why those guys, if they get divorced later in life, because she's just the bitching from her just keeps ramping up higher and higher. That's why when they find us, they're like, oh, why didn't I find this sooner? Like
Right.
this could have saved me, or I would have never chose her in the first place, or whatever. I think that's where we've kind of got the second wave of guys who they do eventually find
Yes.
their way here.
Yes.
And a lot of you are them.
Yes, absolutely.
Better late than never, right?
Yeah, I mean, I always kind of like, in my head, who am I talking to? Most of the time, it's like a guy who's 40 and has gone through a divorce.
Yeah.
You know, they've spent 15 or 20 years married, so they're getting kicked out into this strange world,
Exactly.
you know, and then
So
don't
much
have any of the
changes.
skills.
Yeah. Yeah.
But most guys are just, and that's why most of the guys that come here, they just want enough skills to get a girlfriend.
Yeah.
You know, they don't want to do crazy stuff the rest of their lives. They have no interest in it. They want to find a girlfriend, maybe get remarried, you know, get back into that. That's their identity,
Right.
you know?
Right.
So we've talked about that, but yeah, you're kind of vulnerable if you don't have any understanding of this.
But the kicker there is if you just come for the skills and don't realize any of the long-term plan kind of stuff, that's where the relationship once again kicks you in the balls. Yeah. I cracked up. So yesterday, it wasn't on Twitter. I think it was on, one of these Reels loop things because I've been in Reels mode lately. But it was this guy. It cracked me up. It was this guy who's like doing the selfie thing, and he's running video, and he's opening the car door for his wife, and then closing it, and he's like, guys, if you're not treating your wife like a queen and all this stuff, like if you're not treating her like a queen, if you're not opening the car door for her, shame on you. And then he closes the door, and as he's walking around the car, he's like, I hate this fucking bitch. She drives me crazy. She annoys me.
I felt bad for the man.
And then he opens the other side to get in to drive, and he's like, shame on you, man, if you're not, I mean, it is hilarious.
It's
It
pretty
is
good.
hilarious. I thought that was so freaking funny. But I think that is how most men in long-term relationships assume that is the default. I really do.
Well, I hope not, but you're probably right.
I really think.
You're
I
probably
think
more
this
right
was
than
a
I am.
parody. I think this was,
Yeah.
a scripted thing. But
It's-
still,
I think for a lot of men, just having a wife and the whole thing is kind of a necessary evil.
yeah,
It's part of being a man, and they do it. I mean, because it's like I've always tried to explain, like if you look out over like a suburb and there's like 5,000 houses, I mean, it's mostly beta guys doing thankless jobs
yeah,
for thankless people,
right,
unfortunately.
right,
But it's got to be done,
yeah,
and they do it, and it's hard. So, you can't dismiss that.
right. That reminds me of when you ruptured your quad tendon, and the physician, the surgeon, at one of our checkups, he was like, I said, we were expressing our gratitude to him, and he said, could I give you my wife's phone number? Could you please get on the phone to my wife and tell her how wonderful I am?
That's pretty
Because
funny.
when I get home, everybody's asleep or doing their own thing, and the dog's the only one who's happy to see me.
This guy that's putting people together all day, every day.
Man,
That was a shock.
yeah. I mean, I'm sure it was a little bit of a joke, but I'm sure not that
No,
much,
no.
Unfortunately. Next, super serious guys can get laid. It's just they make it a lot harder than it has to be. And this happens a lot.
If you're a serious guy, and we respect that, and it's a mode, and you're very logical, and it's very hard for you to turn that off, you can meet women.
Yeah.
It's just going to be a lot harder, or a little bit harder than it has to be.
Right.
That's where we put out like to be the fun guy. You can tab it back. You can adjust it to your abilities.
Yeah.
But a little bit of levity goes a long way.
Man, it sure does. Everything else in life is stressful enough.
Yeah.
This should be kind of a relaxing
Yeah.
piece of your world.
And you really do see super logical guys when they're trying to get into the dating pool. They really struggle. That's why I put that out there. I'm like, it can be done. It's just going to be a lot harder if you don't bend a little bit,
Yeah.
and lighten up a little bit, and just realize that they're children. They're like children. You know what I mean?
We're the biggest teenagers in the room.
Yeah, exactly. And if you approach it that way, it's easier to wrap your head around. Just like these guys, and you always hear people who they're like, yeah, I think it's a first date. Oh, it's not going well. He's talking about Bitcoin. Now he's talking about his job. And the guys are like just like digging themselves a hole. And you know what works? You're here.
Yeah.
You know what doesn't work? So you have to kind of apply your knowledge
Yeah.
to the dating world.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite pastimes when we're out and about, whether it's I'm out with your sister or I'm out with you or out with the kids. I love to kind of like people watch and watch couples out on dates, and you can really tell, is it a first date? Is it maybe like 5 through 10? You can tell this stuff. Have they been together forever and can't stand each other? Have they been together forever and are so comfortable and tickled by each other that, I mean, it is absolutely noticeable. And this is one of my favorite pastimes.
But that's the point, is that if you're a super serious guy,
Yeah.
it can be done. It's just going to be a little bit more challenging.
Yeah.
You're going to deal with a little bit more frustration. That's understandable.
And guys really get nervous, especially when you say, be the fun guy. It's like, you don't have to be a dancing clown. You don't
have to be a monkey.
No.
And I try to always convey that, even in like the video, that kind of explains how this works.
Yeah.
I'm like, the first thing, you don't have to be a clown. You're not a jester. But there's a certain mindset you have to kind of like loosen up a little bit.
Yeah. Just relax. And that's where even just the posture comes in.
Yeah.
The posture, the slowing the cadence of your speech, all of it.
And what to avoid.
Yeah. Just kind of finding humor in even what she's doing. All right. Gary PUA. The female attraction paradox is that if you go in wanting care, love, and emotional bonding, they will withhold the JJ from you.
That's right. Guys, we always say guys need to focus on attracting girls, logistics, and making sex happen.
Yeah.
That's all you have to focus in on. Let women take care of the relationship stuff.
Yeah.
Never mention girlfriends. Never mention I would like this. Just, if they ask what you're going through, you go, I just want to see what works out.
Yeah.
I'm open to anything. I'm open to suggestion. And that gives her a chance, and guys kind of can't wrap their head. They're like, I thought girls want relationships. Well, they do, in the sense that they want to work for it and earn it. It's no less offensive to a girl for you to approach a first date or getting to know some girl that I want to be in a relationship. It's the same as her saying, hey, I want to fuck you and some other guys for a while. It flips the script in a bad way.
Oh my God.
So you have to realize that that's how jarring it is for a woman dealing with a guy who's like, I want a girlfriend, or I want to get remarried. If they ask you, will you get remarried someday? And you go, yeah, someday.
Yeah.
But you're still evaluating her, So always put it in that frame that you're open to suggestion, but you're not really sure what you'll land on, or with who.
Right. Right.
So, but that's the deal with the relationships are girls' business. They get to control it.
And truly, I mean, to use a current term, it gives us the ick whenever you mention any of that.
Yeah.
Any of it within the first 6 months, easily, until she starts going, what are we? Where is this going? If you mention it, it will be a red mark on your name. It will be like,
what can you, some guy said, what can I expect? I think he just started doing this stuff. And I'm like, once you start having sex with her, she'll give you a free 12-week free trial. And in about 12 weeks, if you haven't shown any leanings towards some type of exclusivity or commitment, and we're talking about most girls, most, not all, most girls, she'll say, hey, what are we? Well, where's this going? You'll get the talk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then you decide what you want to do with it from there. But generally, it's a free 12-week free trial.
Yeah.
But everybody's pretty much on their best behavior, but then she's going to want some type of return on her investment.
Yeah, exactly. That's
what you can project.
Okay, I freaking loved this one. This is so funny. So, my boyfriend left me because I told him my body count is 170. I told him it was 3 when we first met. Is he in the right or wrong? Yeah. And I love that it's also the thirst trap of, her getting out of a pool, showing her ass. I thought, and you put, it's always 3. And it is, it's always 3. Her high school boyfriend, her college boyfriend, one serious boyfriend after college, you know, her high school boyfriend, her college boyfriend that became her husband, and then you. Or, I mean, it's always 3.
It's always, and that the reason I put this on our on this deck was this was one of those things Buddy keyed me into. She was like, "No, it's going to be 3 no matter what.
Yeah.
This is who it is."
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, "Oh, that makes sense," because you keep hearing 3 when we know that it's a different number.
It could be 7. It could be 70.
It could be 700. And I kind of explained earlier this morning, like, you know, all these other guys don't count. Most girls will only count a guy that is over 2 years.
Right.
You know, I mean,
Right.
for whatever reason, if it's a one-time hookup, no. If she's out of the zip code, no, it doesn't count. If it's immediately after a breakup or a divorce,
Right.
it doesn't count. If she's traveling, it doesn't count. All these things don't count. The only thing that counts are long-term committed boyfriends.
And relationships that we as females can say, I thought that we were going to get married.
Exactly.
I thought that it was going to go further.
Those are the only ones.
Yeah, because then it projects that you were working towards something.
Yes, you weren't just having sex.
You aren't just fucking.
No, because those don't count.
Those don't count.
Those don't count
They don't count. They don't count unless they become serious boyfriends or
That's right.
relationships.
after 2 years.
After 2. Yeah, that's accurate.
Yeah.
All right, you handsome devil. Anytime you ask a girl out and she says she's busy, she's not interested. 1000%. We say this all the time. Don't be a clown and try and figure out her schedule. Exactly. Move the fuck on. Exactly.
That's 007. I wanted to include something
Yeah.
because his stuff is good and he's on the ground. I think he's, God bless him, he is a bartender in LA. I could have the facts wrong, but I think I'm on the right
I
track.
can't believe that he has the energy to even tweet. I'm sure
He
he's
is prolific
just so
too. He's killing it.
sexually drained.
I don't know.
From-
He's out. He's young. He's got a lot of energy.
Exactly.
You know, but so he is on the ground doing this stuff, and he's really seeing how asshole game is all encompassing. I mean, literally, he has a phrase that I like to steal from the best guys. He says, "If you're nice, don't date." I'm like, man, that's
a good line.
that's good.
That's
I was
pretty
like,
good.
as soon as I read that, I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to steal that one.
Yeah.
For sure, because it embodies everything you're trying to convey in one sentence. And it's not like being an asshole, because that throws guys off.
Right.
Nice guys, but so what you convey to them is, if you're nice, don't date, because you're going to get chewed up and spit out.
Yeah.
Generally, most.
Well,
of the
and
time.
one of the comments here, exception, she can say, I can't on Tuesday, but I'm free the rest of the
completely
week.
different.
That's completely different. Yeah.
So while we're on this subject, let's talk about this. When you ask a girl out, there's three answers.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, it's on. I'm busy, or no, and you just shut it down. You
Yeah.
never ask her out again.
Yeah.
You just go, okay, thanks for your time. And then you walk away. Don't hang out, don't grovel, just move on.
Yeah.
Talk to the next girl. Ask the next girl out. You'll quickly forget about this girl. Or the third thing is I can't Wednesday, but I'd love to next week, say Monday.
Right.
They'll give you an alternative. They want to go out with you.
Yeah.
So they will suggest an alternative. If they don't, but they are thinking about it, that's their problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If they say no, it's not your job to read her mind and go, well, how about it just prolongs the agony? Just move on.
And it turns her off.
Yeah, exactly.
If she was a maybe at all,
Right.
it puts her in the no category.
Exactly. So you have three answers.
Yeah.
Yes, no, or I'm busy. And that's, if she says I'm busy, how about next week on Wednesday? That's different.
Yeah,
You know,
that's a third answer.
she's giving you an alternative.
Yeah.
But there's only going to be three. And that's like these guys go, how many times should I ask her out? I go, well, how many times have you asked her out? Well, twice, and she was busy both times. I'm like, stop.
Stop.
Yeah.
Stop asking her out.
Yeah.
Please
I don't
stop.
know where these guys get this. That's why you need lots of girls in your rotation. You need
Yeah.
a lot of contacts.
Well, and that happened with us. I mean, we share that pretty often, that you first asked me out, asked for meeting up. on a Thursday night because Thursday nights
And
are
she just laughed
our
at me.
first. I laughed and I was like, I have kids. Like,
And you're like 30 minutes away. You're like, well, how the hell's that going to work?
yeah. I was like, I can't on a Thursday night.
Just know if you're dealing with moms,
yeah.
there's more moving parts,
Yeah.
period. And I think most guys that are, if they're in that age range, you know, they kind of understand. And if they don't, they should.
Do they? Do they? Do they
Did I
understand?
did I reschedule?
Yeah, we
Okay,
did.
there you go.
I said I can't, but I could on a weekend.
There you go.
You know,
There you go.
I was very quick. I was like,
That's pretty
make
funny.
no mistake. I want to be there. I would love to go on a date.
Yeah, we
Or
violated a
yeah.
couple because even like we didn't. I always tell guys, especially if you're working off the apps, move fast.
Yeah.
You want one or two conversations off the app, and get her in front of you.
Well, and that's what you were working to do. You
Yeah.
were trying to get in front of me before you left town
Right.
for that race,
Right.
but that just wasn't feasible. So we had to do it after.
Move fast.
We had to do it after.
That's right. It worked out.
It worked out. But that tweet brings us to the next one that you put out. Your personality should be 80% asshole, 20% nice guy. Yes, girls need a lot of assholery to keep them happy.
Again, the word is calibration. You need to calibrate. I spent a month forgetting what this word was and digging for it every day when I was talking online.
You've got
Calibration.
you've got like a tattoo on your hand.
Yeah,
of the
I'm
word.
serious. It's that important. You calibrate your approach to the girl in front of you.
Yeah.
If she seems like she needs a lot of asshole, you pour it on, but you don't know initially. So this is what I try to convey to guys. It's far easier to open with a lot of asshole and to tab it back
Yeah.
than to open nice and then have to ramp it up.
Yeah.
One works, the second one doesn't.
Yeah.
You know, so it's almost impossible to recover from that. So opening with the careless asshole approach works, and you can always bring it back
Yeah.
a little bit, you know, but you would be surprised at how much even the kindest, nicest girls, they love it. They
Yeah.
like the lack of I don't know, calibration is the right word, but they need
Yeah.
more asshole than you think. They find
Well,
it funny.
Even okay, so my youngest daughter, we giggle that she had. I giggle. That would be masculine, but she has this guy in her world that she just can't figure out. She's like, he apparently doesn't like me now. Well, today he's he's like my best friend. Yesterday he was like just teasing me relentlessly, and to the point where it was just making me mad. So I mean, he's got her all over the place. I mean, this guy.
And it's the only guy she's ever talked about.
Exactly.
Pretty funny.
I mean, he's got this balance where just about the time that she's so mad that she never wants to even set eyes on him again, he goes in with a little bit of nice. And then he's like,
She's all over the place.
yeah,
Can't stop talking about it.
yeah,
And that's exactly it. I mean, guys that are forgettable,
yeah,
nice guys are forgettable, but
yeah.
her emotions are all over the place. That's what
Exactly.
girls want. They want
She was
that,
talking about it just last night. I
that
know.
roller coaster.
She loves it. She loves it. She wouldn't have it any other way.
And she has no idea what's going on.
Any of the other guys that
No.
probably genuinely like her
Or
and
chasing her.
are
She doesn't even know.
tripping all over themselves. She has no idea. And this aristocracy 16 says women are backwards. The things you think makes them happy, they hate. The things you think will offend her actually makes them happy.
Girls do not like guys that like them.
Yeah.
They hate compliments. They hate gifts. I mean, you can write these things down and literally, like, you should read through that list before you meet up with a girl for the first time.
Yeah.
Remind yourself what they are actually turned on by being qualified, by chasing, by being confused. There's so many things they want to, be with a guy who's a bit above them.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I tell these guys, if you put her on a pedestal, go ahead and knock her off. Climb up yourself. Everybody will be happy.
Right.
So that's the real deal. The things you think and you're conditioned from by your mom, and as a nice guy, is not going to serve you or her. They don't even want it.
Yeah.
So make them earn it.
And I will say this, just to be clear, this applies even when you're in relationship. Now, you might tab back that asshole a little bit once you're in real relationship, but not flipping the script, not 20/80 the other direction.
Yeah.
It's more like 60/40. And then there are still some times, we call it guy drama. There are still some times where you have to like punch a hole in the wall or throw something across the room or just kind of go like 100% asshole to kind of remind her what you aren't always.
Exactly.
It goes a long
what the
way.
potential is there.
Yeah, it goes a long way. I mean, I know that sounds really juvenile and stupid, but it works. These are the things that work. And I'm not.
And it'll probably happen organically.
Yeah.
Just in your normal aggravation of living day to day.
Maybe anything that just raises that blood pressure
That's
a
right.
little bit.
That's right.
But I mean, don't just do the 80% asshole, 20% nice guy when you're doing the pickup, when you're first dating.
Right.
Do it constantly.
It does
Always
kinda
have
to
that
be his
potential.
personality.
Yeah. Because otherwise she'll walk all over you as soon as you're in a relationship, and that's no fun for anybody.
And that's where the girls fall.
Yeah, we really do.
And that's probably one of my most common problems that guys reach out to me for a consult.
Yeah.
Is they know what to do. Then they get into or there's a girl that they like more than the others.
Yeah.
And they don't stay with their game plan.
Yeah.
And this is what they always say. I knew I shouldn't do this, but I did it anyway.
Oh my gosh.
And it bit me in the ass.
Yeah.
I have that conversation at least once a week with somebody
Exactly.
paying me to troubleshoot this thing.
It's true.
And basically they've deviated from their known what works, and it bites them in the ass. And the same thing is where guys have gotten into a relationship, even marriage, and they've changed how they approach her.
Yeah.
And it bites them in the ass because girls go, I don't know why, I just can't stand being in the room with her.
Yeah.
It's that weird, where they start running in the opposite direction.
He's so clingy.
Yeah.
He's so,
Which makes them chase more. And
Yeah.
it's the exact wrong thing to do.
It's really strange.
Yeah.
It's really strange.
If you're in that position, it's best to set up a consult because it's kind of involved
Yeah.
to fix it. It can be fixed.
It can be fixed.
It can be fixed.
1000%
It just
can be
takes
fixed.
some focus.
Yeah. Yep. All right, you handsome devil. So Elon Musk had said men are favoring hedonistic sex over children too much. And then Nuclear Caudillo, every day young men are urged to solve social problems they didn't cause by sacrificing the life they want.
It's pretty good.
I know.
Yeah.
That was pretty eloquent there.
I don't know what more to add to that. We want to get guys that are worth following in front of you.
Yeah.
And he's one of them,
That's
just like
a good
007.
example.
Gary PUA. He's one of the guys that I came here to follow.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Nuclear, I call him the hardest working man on the internet. Because every day he's interacting with all these people, mostly women, going back and forth.
Yeah.
And just roasting them. It's very funny.
That's
very
funny.
And I'm like, how does he get anything? Because he's like a tech guy.
Oh.
You're like, okay. I
love
he
it.
just pulls it off all day. It's really good.
That's awesome.
But you can learn from him. He has some very original ideas.
Well, I think one thing to discuss it a little bit more in depth about what he's saying is that yes, everyday young men are sacrificing the life they want because their parents are saying, when are you going to get married? Your mother and your grandmother are saying, when are you going to start having children? I sure would love some grandbabies. Have you talked to Lauren in a while? She's such a nice girl. And you're like, that's the last girl I want to talk to right now. I think that out of obligation, there are many men, and especially in this area, in this circle, that do sacrifice out of obligation.
Mhm.
But I do think, like you said a little bit ago, that the majority of men, the ones that aren't in this circle early in life, just they want to kind of find a nice girl. They want to have some babies. They want to get a house. They want to have a lawn to mow. They want, to be able to fish and hunt and hang out. Now, I do feel like across the board and across personalities that more young people are doing this later than, well, not later than you did it, probably more like, you got married later.
Yeah. I was like 34, 35.
Wow. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Because
I already had
she
3
was
kids when I
married
did.
and had her first baby. Got married at how old? 21?
19.
19. First baby at 21.
Yeah, right
Yeah.
before my 21st
Bam.
birthday. And then second one at 22.
Yeah.
And third one at 29.
There you go.
Yeah. So,
She actually had her children before I did,
yeah.
which is pretty funny.
Yeah. But I think that the natural shift is happening a little bit later
Yes.
than what I did. And I always felt that, yes, 19 is young to get married. Yes, I don't recommend it to my friends necessarily. But I do think that there is a reason that our parents, our grandparents did start families younger. Because I look at people closer to my age who are just now starting, and even your ex-wife, she had her last kid at 40. She was tired. I mean, it's hard on the body. It's hard, my former husband was 41 when we had the youngest one, and even then he was kind of panicking, like, oh my gosh, think of how old I'm going to be whenever she graduates high school and college and all that. So I do think that this is 100% true, that everyone's that across the board, people are kind of sacrificing the life they want out of obligation.
Right. I see what he's saying.
Yeah.
I mean, for guys, and you do make a good point about like the vast majority, guys don't realize what is asked of them because they're kind of raised to sacrifice. When you become exclusive or marry a woman, you give up your independence, your sexual freedom, your ability to travel. When the kids start coming, you give up so much income. All of this stuff is given up. But guys don't really think it through beforehand. It's a big sacrifice. And it's never really appreciated. So if every once in a while you kind of keep that in mind, you've, put it on the line.
Yeah.
It's why there's a lot of friction sometimes.
But I also think this is why females need to be dating older. If you are a 20-year-old, 22-year-old female, you need to be dating the guys who've already kind of gotten it out of their systems a little bit. So to speak,
for sure.
That are more in a place where they're genuinely ready to start kind of thinking about settling down, for lack of a better phrase, one that everyone is universally understood.
It doesn't serve the purpose very well.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Because she needs to be young when she starts having children. She needs to be, and it's like we talk all the time. It's like 2 years of dating, 2 years of engagement.
It takes a while.
2 years of being married before you start having kids. Maybe then you struggle to have kids, or you run into like obstacles there. But it's another 9 months until you actually pop that baby out. And then it's 2 to 4 years between kids. I mean, it's that packs on those years crazy fast. So the girls still genuinely need to be young so that the math works.
True. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, that's, as far as like my age group, there was a gap. A lot of people got married right out of high school.
Right.
Or right after college. I mean, 22, 23.
Yeah.
And then nothing happened. It's very sparse.
Yeah.
And then in their 30s, the guys and women that hadn't got married started getting married.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there was no real middle ground.
Yeah.
And I don't know what, is out there now, because they do say like that 28 or 29 for women, it's tough. But it does, it feels like a dip. I mean, where you're in the middle of, you know, what's she going to do? Go out with a guy who's 40? She's going to resist it, even though it might be the ideal setup,
Right.
you know. So
It's true. It's true. All right. If you guys do not already know that this exists, you got to check it out.
yeah, baby.
So, fitness, finances, and fucking. There are so many of Fort Worth's products, books that absolutely apply to everything that we've gone over today. The VIP tech support, I think this is one of the most it's absolutely loved by everyone who utilizes it, but it's like people don't understand what it is. So we
24/7
Yeah.
access. We start with a 1-hour consult where we talk about your background, your present situation, and your goals. And then I am able to give you, and it's one call per month for 1 hour. And then tech support is like, if you're asking strategic questions, I can get back to you. If you're asking tactical questions, lines, I'm stuck on this, the scroll said this, what do I respond with?
Yeah.
We can give you immediate, and there's really two brains because Bunny's usually like right next to me, like this. It's just like, why are you asking me? You're the expert. And we can respond and help you out. In a way, I'm your wingman.
Yeah.
You know,
It works out really
wherever
well.
you're at, we're connected.
It works out really well. But indicators of interest, guys, if you feel like you cannot track when girls are interested in you, you don't realize, or you realize too late after the fact that girl actually was trying to like get herself into your world, this is a good one to try out.
I'd say if you don't know these things
Yeah.
and they're not memorized, you're leaving pussy on the table.
Don't leave pussy on the
No,
table.
You're walking past girls that are interested in you every day.
Don't leave pussy on the table. I mean, looking back over your life and over your dating life, it is so much about the girls you could have dated if you had these tools in place, if you'd have really known what you were looking at. Another thing another one of your books I'd really like to look up, just, you've got Younger Women Game. So just like what we were just talking about, if you are a guy who's kind of either in the mode to look for a wife, or if you are coming back onto the market and you think that you have to date people your own age because your ex-wife was your age and you went to high school or college together, that is absolutely far from the truth. Younger Women Game is the place to go. And then Chick Stick Jerks. We spent a lot of time today talking about asshole game. And this is a big deal that will not only serve you really well in your initial pickup and dating life, but in the long term. So go to fortworthplayboy.gumroad.com to look at Fort Worth's complete library of options, and
Published a lot of stuff.
yeah, you have, and it will serve you very, very well.
Perfect.
It's all you, baby.
We're so glad you tuned in. Do we have anything else?
I have.
We're
I
out.
think they're probably tired of listening to me
That's
talk.
funny. That's funny. We appreciate your time. It's very valuable. Thank you for the questions. And for myself and Bunny, we hope you guys have a great day.
We want you to win.